Well, the Trump administration and the state of Minnesota continue to be locked in a series of legal battles as these issues continue to surface. We thought it might be helpful to turn to a constitutional law professor. And constitutional law professor David Schultz is joining us now. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Among the questions, basic questions, can the U.S. go to war without first going to Congress?
Technically, the answer is no, that the Constitution in Article 1, Section 8 solely gives the power to Congress to declare war. And it also gives Congress lots of other powers regarding staffing, funding, and creating a military. However, only 5 times in American history has there been a formal declaration of war. Neither the Korean War, nor the Vietnam War, nor the Gulf War were actually formally declared wars. Instead, oftentimes the president uses his power as commander-in-chief of the armed forces under Article 2 of the Constitution to take us into conflict.
Which is what's happening now.
This is exactly what's happening right now here at this point here. And what we have is kind of this gray area. Most people say that a president can use his power as commander-in-chief to use the military to protect us in a defensive purposes, but certainly not for offensive purposes like this. And so for the most part, the legal answer is that the president can't do this constitutionally. But effectively, over time, again, almost all of our conflicts have never involved formal declarations of war by Congress.
Interesting. Here's another one. Can the U.S. change voting laws? The Trump administration wants to pass the SAVE Act, which will require citizenship in order to vote, and that mail-in ballots would have to be, you would have to be on a federal list in order to qualify for mail-in balloting.
This is clear where the federal government has significantly less authority over, let's say, ballot access or election laws. First off, remember that any of the federal laws regarding federal elections are laws passed by Congress. The president can't issue executive orders to change them. Second, Congress has very little control, in fact, almost no control over elections for state and local offices. And so the president's executive order, in terms of what he recently issued here, is being challenged already. And most people are going to argue and say that it's unconstitutional. And again, with that, Congress, even if it passes some laws, has limited authority over being able to change most of the state and local laws, because what? The Constitution gives authority to the states to be able to run the elections.
Quickly now, because we're running out of time, can the U.S. bar state and local investigations of federal agents, specifically the case of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, where the Justice Department is not sharing any of its evidence with the state of Minnesota and Hennepin County?
They can't bar investigation, but can they bar access to evidence? Yes, they can. Can federal law and the Constitution make it difficult to prosecute and hold federal officials responsible for actions? Yes, they can. So the state of Minnesota faces lots of constitutional and legal barriers in terms of actually getting the evidence it needs to investigate and to prosecute these cases.
All right. Can the U.S. nullify Minnesota's laws that allow for transgender rights, including surgery for minors and also treatment for minors, and also allowing people who identify as boys or identify as girls into girls' sports?
They can't do it directly, but they might be able to do it indirectly. First, the only way that the federal government could nullify Minnesota law is by going to court and getting an interpretation of Title IX that would basically say that allowing transgender males to participate in female sports would be a violation of federal law. Short of that, the state of Minnesota could pass a law saying that we're going to allow transgender athletes to participate. So the Congress could not itself necessarily pass a law that would be easy to do, but it could get a court ruling if you change the way current federal law interprets Title IX.
All right. Thank you for this constitutional law grab bag, Professor David Schultz. As always, it's a pleasure, and happy Easter.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, and happy Easter to everybody else too.